show. So I am packing up to head to Tulum, Mexico. So we fly into Cancun tomorrow. Super excited about that. Can't wait to hang out with some yogis in the jungle, doing some amazing adventuring and eating some yummy foods. And I have a surprise guest with me this week. Not surprised, but I'm a bit surprised that she's decided to come. My daughter is coming with me, and I am very fired up about that. You know my mission, right? It's the $1 Million Grammy mission, where we create change within generations, and how that's passed through our children, grandchildren, there and beyond, whether you have kids or not. It's just a part of the generational patterns changing. And that's been a tough one, especially for women who are supposed to be home and caretaking and kids, and to actually go and do something for yourself, something that's personal, is almost like still bad out here in the South, or that's what some people still believe. And so that's been actually kind of a tough cross for me personally, who doesn't believe that and has kind of broken the cycle in my own family. So to have my daughter come is really exciting. I feel like it is part of the movement happening. It is proof of staying in the belief, in the vibration of it, staying in the opportunity without judging and comparing and being frustrated or angry or think it shouldn't be, or judge how others are and what they think. There was none of that. And then she just said, I really want to go on one of your next trips that you do. And this was something that she saw the picture online and was like, that's where I want to go. So yay me, celebrating, and yay you for those who want to be the example of any kind of change, and you're actually seeing it happen before your very eyes. I will add on to this story. I had one other thing that happened with my granddaughter. I went to her home. They had been traveling and for a few, like 13 hours. She was really tired. She went to school the next day and she was like, I can't study. I can't retain anything. I've got 2 tests and I'm trying to read it. I can't even focus, is what she said. She's in high school. And so it was her and her little sister. And I walk in the room and I said, do you want to try something that may help? And she's kind of like, yeah, what? I won't admit that everyone in my family agrees with all the things that I do. They do see things differently, by the way, for those of you who are different and you think everyone should agree with you. That's not true. So she says yes, because she was tired enough. So I did some tapping with her. I took her through a couple of cycles of tapping and showed her the power of it, like to truly experience it in your own body viscerally. And that made a difference. And then we did some muscle testing. I was telling her that the only way that I passed the MBLEX, which is the test to become a massage therapist, that's kind of stupid because it doesn't ask anything about massage, that I used muscle testing in order to pass. And I was actually afraid that I wouldn't pass because I did not know those answers. But there's a certain thing for those who are in my community, I can show you, that my body does when the answer is yes. And so what I would do is go down and then I would take the signal, and that's literally how I did my test. So I was telling her about it and I took her through some muscle testing and said, listen, you can go and search it and, read about it. You don't have to listen to me. Go and try it for yourself. And she sent me a message yesterday that said, I could read it to you exactly because I don't want to. It's very exciting. She said, your method helped me pass my tests today. I made the highest grade in the class, and I normally can't pass on her test. So she says, I normally can't pass the teacher's test. Not only did I pass the test using your methods, I made the highest grade in the class. That's powerful, guys. What? Like, that's why I'm so excited to keep doing this work and to keep sharing it, because it is fun. It feels really good, not just when like things are changing for me, but when it's changing around me. So having my daughter come to Tulum and having my granddaughter make the highest grade. And there's a couple of things that happened with my husband. I won't get into it on this show, but just saying, we're in a really good place. And you can be too. Okay. So I'm going to extend last week's a little bit, and I want to continue talking about the Abraham lessons. So the thing that I didn't, for those of you who didn't watch last week's episode, you can go back to it. What I didn't talk about was the question that made such a huge impact. So the experience of realizing the power of choice, that has changed me forever. It's changed the way I see clients. It's changed the way I see myself, and the way that I understand what's happening inside of my mind is actually dictating the flow of life. Huge. But this was pivotal. The question was, so I'm invested in my clients' results. Many of you can relate, right? So you're invested in your child's results, you could say. I'm invested in my marriage. I'm invested in my family. And really believing the best and having this vision for what it could be like. I'm very invested in that. Agreed? So when I'm invested in my client or anyone else, any other human outside of myself, some flourish, some stall. What do I do? That was like the question. What do I do? And God, this is like so mind blowing. I feel like it's too early in the show to tell you the answer, but I'm going to go for it. Abraham's answer was, everyone has an inner being. Everyone has their own guidance system within themselves. You and me and everyone else. Consciousness is always guiding and leading us. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. Consciousness is always, right? Source is always. It doesn't stop ever. We just have to tap into it. We have to tap into that knowing and feel it and sense it. This is not new for me. I've been my entire life, even as a little kid, has been following this. I just thought I was wrong or bad because other people couldn't relate to it. I'm now realizing different. So everyone has their own inner being. And their inner being is always talking with them, right? It's always happening. We can always see it. Inner being wants this. Inner being wants this. Then the mind is like, goes into all the fear and the excuses and the lack of belief. If their inner being can't tug them along, can't get them to change their mind, do you think you can? How powerful is that? For you coaches, for you healers, practitioners, mamas that want to change someone else, partners, if their inner being can't take them there, do you really believe that you can? And why would you want to? Why would you want to be the source of their pulling them along, and them not getting it from within themselves? Then they're always going to need you. It's as if they're going mudding and they always need your truck to come pull them out the mud when they get stuck. What's going to happen when you're not there? If their inner being can't get them to move along, can't get them going, can't get them started, how do you think you're going to do it? Same thing with your children, with your partners. Just really think about it. Every single person has an inner being. Every single person has a guidance system within themselves. Everyone. This is not a limited resource. It's abundantly available. Consciousness is always moving through us. Just stop and pause for 10, 15-minute meditation and you'll turn it on. Stop looking outside of yourself for someone else to be the authority. Look inside yourself to be the authority, right? Get guidance from friends and maybe feedback, but not expecting someone to save you or expecting someone to give you the business plan or expecting someone to do it for you. Because if your marketer or a business coach is marketing for you, is doing it their way, they're actually using their energy to attract people. That's not yours. It needs to come from you. If you want to work with clients, then just get over the fact that you're going to have to market yourself. You're going to have to talk to people. You're going to have to show them. That's the key word. And you show them by being it yourself. That's how you help someone attain this enlightened consciousness, prosperity, abundant life, by doing it themselves, by you first being the example of it and them being inspired by your change. Inspiration. You can give them inspiration by being it. But when you get so frustrated and flustered and can't help because they can't see, it's because they can't receive on the vibration that you're on. And the only way that you can get them to hear or see is for you to drop down into where they are. And are you willing to do that? Are you willing to risk that? Are you willing to go there? Because that's what I was doing. I kept dropping down to try to kind of tug that along and try to pull and try to make that happen. It was my energy. It was my desire. And they can't run on my desire. And one of my clients told me this. She said, I noticed something that happens. Your belief is so strong. You believe in us more than we believe in us. And that's a beautiful thing. I love that. It's very fun to be around you. But then when you're not there, I have nothing to tap into. And I don't know what to do next because I need you there. And so this came full circle with that awareness. It's been a few weeks now we had this conversation. And I recognize it. And it's true. I do. I believe very strongly. I'm invested very strongly, just like the question was. I'm invested in my clients' results. So what do I do? And the answer was, you can only go and do it and be the inspiration, and then offer them the best, offer to guide them, offer to show them by being the example of it, and then giving them feedback on where you see that they may be getting lost. But here's the problem. The world is so occupied with knowledge that many of the clients won't come in all the way. They won't come all the way, right? As soon as they start coming in and they sense the belief and they're like, oh, she believes, here we go. They're believing. Their lack of confidence, lack of clarity, lack of belief, lack of desire, because if they desire, they'll be disappointed if they don't get it, right? So that's what they've been running on. That lack of desire actually, and then you have to pull. So it's like, what if you didn't pull? What if you just was the example of, what if you were just the being? What if you were just the example and allow them and their inner being to come the rest of the way? So you can be in alignment with source and self, follow your own inner being, your own inner knowing, right? Following your own consciousness, being the example. That's showing them how to do it by you first being your best client. That's one of the first rules that we teach in eSchool. If you want to get more clients, you have to first be your best client. Because if you aren't getting results on your product, how are you possibly going to sell or give that to someone else? That's where the imposter syndrome comes from, because you're not actually doing it yourself. You're not experiencing it. And quite honestly, you're not sure if it's going to work for them because it hasn't worked for you, right? So it all brings this all into full circle. So as a coach, as a practitioner, as a healer, as a teacher, where you are being the example and holding the space, you can believe in them. You can believe in the best for them. And then you have to be willing to let them decide. Like I had to decide, do I want to go all the way? Do I want to get this here? Am I ready? That's another thing. Am I in the frequency to receive? Do I have the ability to receive in this moment? Because if they don't have the ability to receive, I can give and give and give and give and believe and believe and believe and tell them you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're so smart, everyone loves you. They can't receive it. So it's like, bang, it hits a brick wall. It doesn't penetrate into them because their resistance blocks it. Does that make sense? Their resistance they won't be able to get it to receive it. So it actually stops that. So that's lesson number 2 from Abraham is, if their inner being can't get them on board, do you really think that you can? And why would you even want to? Because then it's coming from you. It's not coming from them. So I thought that was very refreshing. I swear I felt 30 pounds lift off of my body. I was like, I got exactly what I needed and wanted. I love that I was chosen to be a part of this, to participate in this. I'm forever changed by that awareness and I know that's something that a lot of you dabble with, because we really want to make a difference, right? We all want to make a difference. We all want to live our purpose, serve. It's innately human, and it's really hard for us to receive that for ourselves. But that is what you are craving. You're craving your own validation. You're craving belief in yourself. You're craving that confidence and the clarity for you. And so you're trying to give it to someone else. For those who struggle with this, I have an earlier episode called actually, I think it's the Wounded Healer. If not, it's something close to that. And it's very early in the beginning of the podcast. My producer can put the link below. But that's something that I struggled with a lot, is we want to desperately give them what we need. It's a projection and reflection of our own needs and desires. So that was really exciting. I hope that you received a release from that burden and that pressure also, and can see where the pulling and the tugging is not our responsibility. It's not our job. And actually, it's going to harm you. So that's where my dissatisfaction was coming from. That's where my frustration and kind of like, I can't have what I want and need. That's a sign of depression. So depression is like not believing you'll ever get what you want and need, and then not being able to express that. Where there is expression, there is no depression. You've got to be able to express that disappointment, that sadness, the fear, the whatever it is, because if you can express it, you'll release it. Got it? So I noticed it. I noticed the signs, because this is something that I dealt with a lot. But really, the truth is, guys, I want to serve more. I want to have more live events. I want to make it more affordable for more people. So we're looking for places to host where you could maybe come share a room. We're going to make it as close to airports as possible, and have these venues and event spaces to be something that you can afford no matter where you're coming from. That's the intention with this. I'm not exactly sure what we're calling it yet. More than likely, it's Grow Your Life, how to improve your health, wealth, and relationships, how to connect source with self, how to release the old identity and create this you, this being that you already are. And so it's really about releasing generational patterns, cycles, and habits, and embodying potential, positive potential that you already are, how to help you turn that on and step into this high vibe, joyous ease, flow, and freedom. That is what my clients gave me testimonials on the 10-week immersion. 10-week intensive, is they feel free, they feel liberated, they feel empowered, they feel confident and courageous, they feel whole, they feel connected. There was something missing and they wasn't sure what it was, but it was actually coming back to that wholeness within themselves, something that some had never, ever, 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 ever experienced, because many of us came from homes that did not show us how to do that. Everyone was just surviving, and it wasn't like a necessity, but now it is. Now, the way the world is really busy, a lot of information, there's been a lot of things that have happened that's out of the ordinary, especially the last 2 years. That's what I'm seeing with this whole body acceptance and embodiment, is like our life got shaken up. We went out of routine. We didn't move as much as we used to. We started eating different things. We had a lot of stress and pressure and worry and concern. And now we're on the flip side of that, and we're feeling the effects. We're feeling the manifestation of what was created before. It's just now coming into physical form, which is all about the law of attraction. Okay. Look forward to seeing you. If you're not in the More Than Mindset Facebook group, please come over, introduce yourself. And if you have family or friends who would be interested in this show, please, please, please share it. Give me a rating, a review on the back end so we can help reach more